what's great about real estate is that you don't have a hierarchy you need to try to navigate versus corporate. Like corporate sometimes is like, I said not even the one person, hey, why I never CC my boss? Oh, you should CC, don't CC. Can I speak to my boss's boss directly? For clients, you are adding real value and you tell the client as it is. It's about helping your client achieve his ambitions or his dreams. So that is very meaningful to me.
Welcome to the third episode of Her Bold Move podcast. In our third episode, we are happy to have Veron with us. Veron was a senior marketing manager with a logistic company before she came on board with us in 2022 as a part-time agent. So she converted to full-time last year and she has done very well since then. Welcome, Veron.
Thank you for having me.
So you joined us in 2022. Can you share with us what you were doing prior to coming on board with us as a real estate agent?
So actually I was initially, like what you mentioned, I was at a logistics company as a senior marketing manager. I first started my career actually in advertising and social media.
Okay.
Then I moved over to the corporate side, actually in pharmaceutical marketing in some big pharmaceutical MNCs before actually moving to logistics. Yes, that's right. So quite a big, I would say, change or transition in my career. And this is probably going to be hopefully my last career. Yes.
Okay, I remember when I met you in 2022, you just passed your RES exam.
Yes.
And after that, you joined us as a part-time realtor first. What were your considerations then? I mean, why start off with part-time, then only coming in full-time last year, 2024? Yeah.
Okay, so good question. To be very honest, initially I wanted to do full time, but I realized that actually I probably was not fully prepared in terms of my finances and cash flow and liquidity. So I actually took the time also, like maybe about 2 years to actually understand the industry better, while I was actually having a full time job. So I went for courses, I got to know the team better, I got to know the industry a lot better. So that really put me in a place where when I felt I was ready to go full time, I could actually take the plunge without knowing that I didn't have a fallback plan. So I think that was important for me, yes.
You were very brave because I remember when I came into the real estate industry, I was 26 only. So then it was easy for me because there wasn't a lot of financial commitment, I was single then. So to me, when I look at you, your opportunity cost is actually much higher than me. So to take the plunge to come in full time, I think I really salute your courage.
Thank you.
Yeah, but be honest, you spent like 20 years in the corporate industry building your career. And when I look at you, you actually have a very good career. So what makes you decide to, let go of everything and come into real estate industry?
Actually, to be very honest, you mentioned opportunity costs. I think at this point in my life, like I'm in like my early 40s, the opportunity cost of not doing something different is even higher. Yes.
Okay.
To some extent, like for corporate, there is like an invisible ceiling come late 40s, 50s.
Okay.
So by late 40s, 50s, you should have achieved a certain point. Or you need to be able to like, if you have made enough contacts or if you've played the corporate game long enough, then you would roughly know that is when a lot of people get susceptible to perhaps retrenchments, perhaps not being able to advance past a certain point. Then you become expensive for the company. You're a certain age and you are more vulnerable to, I would say, restructuring. And it's very difficult at that point to get another role or of the same level of pay in other companies. So, and to be honest, if I look at the 5-year plan ahead, I do not want to be playing that game. So, in corporate, unfortunately, there is sometimes this phenomenon, like where it does get tougher when you hit your 50s, unless you already have a huge network, you have built that stepping stone along the way. So for me, I felt it's also certain rules in corporate I don't really like lah. It's like you have to definitely play the politics game. You have to some extent do some things which a lot of red tape you need to actually wrangle with. And I felt coming from my background where you came from an SME and maybe you have more control versus if you're in a corporate structure, then there is a lot of layers you need to pull through, and which is not always very efficient. Yeah,
That's
so,
one thing.
Yeah,
Also, when you were with us on a part-time basis, I noticed that you actually work very hard. You work very hard. You work very long hours. So when I look at it, okay, and especially also that, you know, whenever I speak to somebody who is thinking of doing mid-career switch, one of their concern is also, like when you reach a certain age, you feel that your hours are all spent on work. Yeah, and I think that's why there is this thing called work-life balance, which is quite difficult to achieve in Singapore if you are working in a corporate life.
Yeah, in corporate we don't have so much the word of the term work-life balance, but it's like work-life incorporation. You know, to be very honest, especially I think come COVID, after COVID, we do a lot of calls, like you know, and previously you could work from home. Now very much a lot of I would say we are asked to go back to the office almost. It was mandated 5 days a week when I actually left my previous role for certain departments. So that becomes harder, especially if it's a mom, to spend time with your kids. And also to like better manage your time, you know. So and also you do a lot of like late night calls. You don't travel as much, you know, which is what I like about my job. But I realized it become like, oh, you keep doing a lot of overseas calls and do until like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And then so it is tough, you know. It is tough, I would say, yeah.
But okay, I mean, coming from your background as used to be advertising, you know, then logistic, now real estate. Actually, there are many jobs out there. What draws you to the real estate industry? You know, real estate.
To be very honest, real estate, it is not very different from what I used to do in the sense that we are adding value to our clients' lives, whether or not it's in logistics, whether or not it's in pharmaceutical. And because I came from I would say a commercial background, you realize that a lot of these skills you learned could be applied when actually helping my clients, you know. And it's like, previously, to be very honest, I got this degree or basically this cert. I did not know very much about real estate also. So actually I know I learned about real estate first time was because I watched Selling Sunset. That was like, wow.
Okay.
That was, to be very honest, I was quite inspired by Selling Sunset.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, then COVID, right? Then I'm like, let's just go and take the cert lah. Because I like to take courses. It's like, so I thought, actually, to be very honest, I got my first house without actually knowing what to look out for, without knowing that you know, like there are certain checkpoints or there's how about advancement. I just want to not stay in the same house as my parents. Yeah, and then you realize that actually there's so many things about real estate that a lot of people don't know. They never even heard of, and these are real things which can help build your wealth or like build your, I would say, you know, like retirement plan, and you're adding real value to clients, which is what I really liked about the industry and why I thought it was a very meaningful job, which I hope that I can do for a long time lah. Yeah.
Okay, do you have this fear that you will not be able to make it here? Honest.
A bit lah, got lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why I ask you this question is because, right, remember when I first met you, I don't know whether you remember, it was through Zoom. So that I remember that like half an hour when I met you, right, you were very confident. And actually then I have a feeling that you should be able to make it here. And then after I get to know you, right, wow, you are like very driven. And honestly, you are very disciplined. Though you say you are not, but you are very disciplined. And recently, the case, right, you show me another side of you is the never say die, never give up.
Yeah. I think it's true. I mean, it's like I mentioned, like, to be honest, many people think about, you know, like, oh, what can I stand to lose? But you should think about what you can stand to gain. You know, sometimes, and you know, certain parts of life, like for example, early in your career, you would work very hard because you're learning stuff. But now I think at my point in life, right, you want to work for yourself, and the amount of hours I still work hard, but you're working hard for the cost for each time unit. That means the cost per hour I spend, or like the value I get, it's it's much higher than when, for example, you are in a corporate job where you're doing a lot of admin stuff or a lot of like stuff which is inefficient, and you realize that you work so hard. What is does not go much further towards that goal, or is that goal even worth pursuing because it's just what your boss tells you to do right now? So it's like, to that extent, I think the hard hours is worth it.
Okay.
Yeah, really worth it. Yeah, it's worth you putting in the effort.
Okay. You have been here for 3 years now. What are some of the challenges you face during these 3 years?
Challenges?
Or rather, okay, probably, what are the challenges you face when you first started?
I think number one, it would be getting your family and friends to believe in you.
And to support you,
Yeah.
You know, it's like just like I mentioned in the first episode with Yvonne, right? It's so difficult to get people to support us in this career.
Yeah, correct.
Especially for the so-called, to a lot of people, as a property agent, they will feel that never study kind. Then you have a property agent. But I mean, nowadays we do see a lot of more very qualified real estate agent. Yeah, to pass the RES exam is actually really not easy. Yeah, so I think to get the support, like what you say, I think is one of the challenging part.
And I think when I first actually started out and I told my mom, Mommy, I got my real estate license, and she said, you want to be a real estate agent? Why? Yeah, I'm like, why not, right? So actually my dad also was not very, he took time to actually get used to the idea. To be honest, when I left my previous role, I did not actually tell a lot of my colleagues that I was moving on to real estate. You know, I kept it a mum for a while. But I did tell one group of colleagues and closer in the company. And when I told them, hey, I'm going to real estate, they were like, they were like, I remember they were like very quiet. They didn't say anything. So it's like, I think, to be honest, it is something which I was like, okay, I thought like it was something which they were not prepared for, So and I also at that point I did feel like, why are they like that? Is it really that I'm not suitable for the industry? So you do get a little bit of I won't say disheartened, but it's something feedback that you take into account. That this may be something which you might encounter when you actually speak to or maybe prospect your contacts. But I mean, so far, it is, to be honest, I think in the end, it is in your head lah. You just need to get past it, get past it. In this industry, there will always be, I would say, high points and low points. And you just got to value the high points, and then the low points, push it aside as a learning experience and move on. So I think sometimes also, because it can be I would say like there are two sides to the coin. So your friends and your family or your co-workers previously, they know your style well, but they also know on the other side that you're not as experienced. But I've been quite lucky that like a lot of my I would say ex-colleagues and friends, they have been very supportive. A lot of my clients are actually my ex-colleagues in all the companies that I've worked with. And so it's good and bad. Yeah, so I think that was something which helped me. Secondly, maybe is scared to approach people lah. I mean, sometimes.
Okay, scared to approach people. Okay, maybe I just share one sharing that I heard from somebody who is very experienced in the industry many years back. So this guy, he used to be a VP in MNC. So he came in to become a full-time real estate agent. So he was doing the sharing. And one thing that really left an impression in me was that, because he also did a mid-career change and he was a VP in MNC, he said the biggest challenge that he faced, right, is to do door knock and hyping. Because when he was a VP, people come to him. Now he has to go out and look for sales. So to him, that was the biggest challenge. Yes. For you, do you feel that it's difficult? Because you also come from a corporate background and, I think you also like doing very well in your corporate job. Is that an issue for you?
Definitely. I think number one is you must be motivated lah to go and do hyping.
But you are very motivated. The way you do hyping and you even go door knock alone. I think that is really amazing.
Because it's also free ma. That's what I mean, as in like so it is, I would say it is sometimes to go and approach someone you do not know. It's definitely need to have some thick skin lah. So I think for this industry, to some extent, you have to have that resilience, and you build it up over time. You may come in maybe not being as confident, but then I think at the more successes you have, and then I think I'm very lucky that I have a very supportive team, and yourself as my mentor to ensure that you at least are able to either keep the schedule, go and dawn off other people, or that if you have anything you do not know, there's always someone that I can ask. I think that is very important. That support network from your peers and from your colleagues to take you to the next level. And I think it's great that I think, to be honest, your colleagues and your boss is the most important to some extent in any job you have.
Yes.
And I'm very glad I actually have it in our team. Because initially when I came in, you sometimes will feel that because it's a little bit overwhelming.
Okay.
Just because the way that the real estate industry works is quite different from corporate.
Yes.
Very
different, I feel.
Yes, it's very, very different. First thing you have 100,000 group chats, which
irritating.
In the corporate it's all emails, right?
Yeah.
You track, but their chats, their basic conversation happening all the time, which you need to value. You need to see and sift through which is important to you. So that took me a while. It became for me, who's a bit OCD, to keep track of everything was very, very. It was challenging at first.
Okay.
And because there's so many things about industry you're learning, which is not in the textbook or not what you learn in the course, it really takes time for you to see what you're good at, maybe to think about which sector you want to focus on, and also to maybe see who you can depend on more in your team. So that takes time for me, For me, that was something which was important.
And also I realized, right, in the practical side of things, it's actually very different from what we learn in the books. It's really very different. So I think that also is something that need to get used to. And also back to the corporate side. So I was in the industry for 20 over years, but of course in between, I remember I took a break and I joined a corporate company, and for about slightly more than a year. And honestly speaking, when I joined that company, right, for about 1.5 years, right, it actually enhanced my decision that I'm not going to work for somebody else again. It's like there are so many hierarchy. It's just like the email. It's like I cannot take it. It's like one email you got to CC to the whole world, and then you got to track the emails, what's happening.
Correct.
And of course the working hours. I think it's really something that tell me that I really treasure my life in real estate.
I think what's great about real estate is that you don't have hierarchy you need to try to navigate versus corporate. Corporate sometimes is I send one email to one person, hey, why I never CC my boss? My boss, hey, why you never tell me? Or hey, why you see so many people? Or who you should CC? Don't CC. CC who? Can I speak to my boss? My boss's boss directly? Must I tell her before? Or what if she's not happy? Then if your boss say somebody say you're very good, then are you overstepping your boss? I'm like
correct. Too many red tapes.
It's to me, I'm quite a outspoken person. If I don't like it or I say it's no good, means there's a reason. There's no real reason why I would try to say something which is not maybe not in the best interest of the company, but it might not be considered as very tactful or very I would say corporate lah. But for a client, or when I'm servicing a client, I have to tell them the truth. I have to tell them what's the best for them, even if it may not be something that they want to hear. But just maybe, of course, you have to phrase it in a way that they would be more open to understanding. But this is something which I really value. In my role currently, you are adding real value, and you tell the client as it is. If it's not going to work for him, you tell him. And I think, for me, this industry is not about buying and selling. It's about helping your client, basically achieve his ambitions or his dreams, whether or not it's financially, whether or not it's a past his retirement. So that is very meaningful to me. And it allows me to be who I am.
Okay. Actually, there's one question I want to ask you also, because one of the issues that I find with many mid-career change agent is that because in our role, we are like our own boss. So nobody tells us what time we have to report to work. Nobody tells us what to do. So it can be a loss, so people come in, they might feel lost, like, what am I supposed to do? How do you navigate or, overcome this? To me, that is also a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on different characters. I mean, so, and also depends on like, whether you're full-time or part-time, I guess. I would say for me personally, I would definitely designate, you have to have a timetable like you're in school. So maybe Monday is because typically, that's when I think most of our clients are at work. That's when you actually rest. Your weekends are for viewings and for prospecting. And then in between, you have to have one day for like following up with your clients. One day you do all your marketing stuff. One day maybe you do your pipeline planning. So this is just I would say a placeholder template which you can use to organize your time. But you should know how to do that. And also I think in different parts of the year, there are some points which there are less active for the industry, where you can go on your break, go holiday, then really for those 2 or 3 quarters. So actually it's not so different from corporate. There's also a pipeline, there's also a timing when the sales will come in. So you can apply some of that if you came from a corporate background towards your real estate career.
So actually you see, for a mid-career change, right, I think there's actually a lot of benefits. So like you mentioned earlier, right, your previous network, that give you quite a number of deals. And also because you have been working in the corporate world for quite a while, you roughly will understand how the whole system works. And for your case, because you came in 2 years part-time, then you convert to full-time. So you already see how does the real estate industry work. So in a way, I think, that is the benefit of transiting from a part-time to a full-time, and also a mid-career change.
Yeah, I would say it's always important, you're right, Vivian, to always learn something new, do something different. And when you're in like maybe at maybe our age, do everything for yourself. It's not about career advancement anymore. It's like
so agree.
it's like, and you realize sometimes if you're happy doing what you are doing, then it's you're more motivated to keep going on. And then you're able to be more resilient to maybe the upside or the downside of the industry. So I think it's it's all up to you. You make the rules.
No. And that also brings me another point. I mean, comparing someone who is like doing a mid-career change, who have been in the corporate world for a while, to someone probably who just came in their 20s, hasn't really have much working experience. I think that is the difference, though. Like you guys, or we I'm also like, we really know what we want in our life, as compared to somebody who is like fresh, and new. They have to drive. But probably it will take some knocks and some challenges for them to really discover what they are passionate about.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So actually the next question I want to ask you, I think is also related. If I were to ask you for some advice, to give to those who are thinking of doing mid-career change, like what would be some of the advice that you would give them?
Definitely, I would say the first thing you should do is, what do you have to lose?
What you have to lose.
What do you have to lose if you go in?
Okay.
Nothing. What is the opportunity cost? So go in and just do it. Like what is the worst that can happen? Like especially if you go in like maybe at like my age, for example, like worst case, you feel that it's not for you. Maybe you feel that you're not so sure. You are, you're, in the end, maybe it's not something that you think that you want to do in the full time. You can always go back to corporate, right? But if you don't do it, you will always have to regret that you never tried.
Yes.
Until you come to a certain point where you realize the opportunity cost of you going into maybe into this career full time is very, very high. So I would say, number one, just go and try lah. Get the paper. I tell all my friends, they ask me, hey, how is it being an agent? Then I say, it's good. Just try it. And say, are you sure I can be agent? And say, just go and try it. What is stopping you from doing it? It's, if you try it, you get the cert. It's always like something that you've learned, something that you can apply. Even if you don't become an agent, you can always like use it to actually drive your own decisions in real estate. So I would say just do it lah. Nothing is stopping you except yourself.
Actually, this thing is very important, like just do it. Because I also remember recently I spoke to someone. So she says that actually a few years back, she was thinking of becoming a real estate agent. Then she didn't do it. So now she's thinking of doing it again. So it's like, to me, I always say, right, 人生没有如果嘛, only got 结果 and 后果. So the thing is, if you don't try, right, you never know, you will keep thinking, hey, if I have done that, would I be successful? But like you say, if today I try and it don't work out, then at least you try and you move on. So
correct.
that is very important.
Yeah, I mean, it's always important, I think, to open more doors for yourself. The more times you say yes, you're actually opening yourself to more opportunities. The more times you say no, you're actually closing doors that are open to you.
Just like real estate investment.
Correct. Correct. So buy early. That's what I also say, right? Do something, do it early. Then there's always room. I can't say I made every decision right, but this is one decision that I think I got it right. Yeah.
Okay, one question I want to ask you is that you have come in full time for 9 months, or about 9 months. How has your life changed over the past 9 months?
So I think number one is I really actually value having control over my time and spending more time with my loved ones, friends and family. And it's like you are also motivated every morning. You wake up and you're doing something that you like. So previously, like it's like okay lah, because I'm not a morning person. I really am not a morning person. My day usually starts at like maybe about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
In corporate 7:30 must wake up, then take the cab $30 over to office. It's like so every day it adds up. So I think number one, having control of your time is very important to me. At this point in my life, I don't want to. 9 to 5 is not always, I would say, the best arrangement for me. So I think you really value that. I can see we have a lot of like moms in our team. We have a lot of, they're doing part-time or full-time. It's something which you really value, especially like, I have a kid, but he's quite old already lah. But I still think that it's, if I need to go and run errands, I can just go and do it. If I need to, like maybe if I want to go and see, I want back, okay, I just go lah. I don't need to, I have to think about, I want to go and check my, today I got to do laundry, I have to take leave, everything. You can just
control over the time.
You have control over your time, yes, that's right.
Okay, we have come to the end of our podcast. Thank you, Veron, for sharing with us your journey from part-time to a full-time agent, as well as a mid-career switch to become a real estate agent. I'm sure your journey has inspired many who are also thinking whether they should make the switch.
Yeah. Thanks, Vivian. So anybody, any viewers out there for the podcast, just do it. I tell all my colleagues and friends, just do it. Just try and get the license and you never know. You really never know. Maybe you'll be like the next multi-million-dollar producer. So just kind of do it.
And also you will have like the perfect life that, we see on Veron now. It's like she's so happy and so passionate about the job. Okay, so we'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.